My second favorite holiday is happening today, Friday the 13th. It's just such a fun freaking day, and every time it rolls around, I close off the day completely, watch as many of the movies as possible, and work up some crochet pieces. I'm not entirely sure what I want to work on. The only thing I do know is that I'm going to be using this yarn for something. It just feels like the unofficial yarn of Friday the 13th. It's called Red Splash from Yarn Inspirations. It's the Bernat Blanket Big. It is exactly that. It's a huge, giant, fluffy yarn. I've made rugs out of this. I've made a couple of blankets too. I'm actually going to put a poll on my Instagram and see what should I do. Should I do a blanket, a rug, or a pillow cover? There actually is on Yarn Inspirations a pattern for a lumbar support pillow. It says that it takes 2 of these skeins of yarn in order to make it. Like, that's what I'm starting right now. Apparently crochet in the round. So I made like the base and then half double crocheted on one side, half double crochet on the other side, and then I'm just going to keep on going. It's a 12 by 16 inch pillow. I will be getting the pillow inserts eventually. I just don't know if that's going to happen or not today. It depends on how everything goes. I'm kind of just enjoying hanging out in the yarn dungeon right now. In a couple of minutes here, actually in 20 minutes, I'm going to have a live chit chat with Pink Sheep Designs. I haven't chatted with them in a long time, so really curious to see what they're up to. And that's the hook that I have right here. I also have their glow-in-the-dark 13mm crochet hook. It just feels like it has to be used today. I don't have any yarn for it at this moment though. We'll have to kind of look around the yarn dungeon and see if I can find something with that. I have a lot of this where it's like really, really big, or the Bernat Blanket, which I think that uses a 6 or an 8mm crochet hook. 13 is a very particular size. Not a lot of things call for it. And this is my only size 13 hook that I have. Well, I have 2 of them, but they're both from Pink Sheep Designs. Awesome glossy black with a little bit of glitter all throughout it. And it's stamped on the bottom for both of them. You can't really see it so well with the glow-in-the-dark one, but this one has it right on there. So I could hold 2 strands together to use this. I think that Michaels has some loops and threads that, if not calling for 13, I think it's 11 or 12, because that's normally what it goes through, is like 12 and then it jumps up to 15 in crochet hooks. That was so much freaking fun. I haven't chatted with Evelyn of Pink Sheep Designs in such a long time, and she also made an announcement that her Halloween boxes are coming back. So like the hooks that I just showed you, the glow-in-the-dark ones, that was her box last year, and it was a whole theme. So the entire box came with the limited edition glow-in-the-dark hook. There was glow-in-the-dark stitch markers. There was so many things, and it came with this little light too, so you could charge it all up. Even when I'm just hanging out in the yarn dungeon and the lights are on and everything, I could charge it and it still glows a little bit. I need to find that because it just sparked my memory that that was a thing. I got a lot done though, just chatting. We ended up talking for almost an hour, which is kind of how that goes when I didn't even show. I brought it all the way down, but this is one of Evelyn's cardigan designs that I'd purchased a couple of years ago. I don't think I took a picture at all, so this just never made it onto any of my socials. It obviously doesn't go on theme with today, but I am going to be changing my decor to be a neon explosion very soon. I mean, it's basically a functioning blanket. This thing is giant. I don't remember how many balls of yarn that it took to make this. She has incredible patterns, especially if you like patterns that are quick and just to the point. I mean, bulky, chunky yarn will definitely do that. While we were chatting, I ended up finishing this part. I didn't think it was going to eat up the yarn that quickly, but this is one full ball of yarn. So yes, I do need to go to Michael's to get the other section. Maybe I can find a pillow insert too while we're out. And then I forgot that I have this yarn in the color red and black tweed. How freaking perfect is that for Friday the 13th? I started working it up using the 13mm crochet hook, and I got all of this done too. I don't know how many stitches this is. I kind of just started working on it as we were talking, so I'm gonna have to go back and count everything, but I basically have almost an entire sleeve done. This is all just freestyle. I don't have a pattern that I'm following, just kind of going until I want to stop. Michaels does have a sale going on in stores right now, which like never happens for their yarn. Across the board, it's 30% off every single thing that they have, including like all the new yarn that they have out. Not that this is new yarn, but either way, I need to grab this and then more of the red tweed and obviously some more coffee. It's totally finished. I just did the last square. Oh, not there. Oh, it is there. Yeah, right there. Here's a little end. Tiny last square was gray. So incredibly happy to be done with this. And I actually like it a lot more than I was thinking too. Like I knew I was gonna love it, but it was the split colorway. I didn't know how much I was gonna like that here in my movie room. I couldn't visualize how it was gonna fit in. This needs to change. I do have quite a bit of fabric that I need to just sit down and do all of the covers, the pillow shams for every single pillow, and probably gonna need a couple more. Sam is definitely gonna stay here. I mean, that goes perfectly with this blanket, even though they have a little busted eye there. It just adds to it, you know, and it's still a functioning pillow, so we're good with that. This little one right here is, I don't know where I'm gonna put this. Oh, actually it's gonna go down in the yarn dungeon. That makes so much more sense because I'm doing Neon Explosion, neon green. Yeah, we're doing that. The ends are not woven in yet, but I think I'm just gonna set it out. That way I can kind of see what else I need. Like, do I need a couple more pillows? I think 2 more, including the Sam. So we'll have like Sam here, 2 more pillows there, and then we're good. I don't know, I'm just really excited, just starting to figure all of the decor out here for my movie room. Like, it's actually happening now. This is done, and we're moving on to the actual fun part, which is decorating. Okay, I shouldn't say that. This was fun to create. I just got in a little bit of a funk with it and needed it to be done so I can move on. I did go to Michael's to see if they had some of that red yarn, and I think it was kind of a sign that they didn't have any more of that, so I only have the 3 skeins, but I can't finish a cardigan with only 3 of the skeins. So I think that yarn is just gonna go away for right now. We're gonna enjoy the celebration of this blanket being finished today. Kind of look around for another project to work on as I watch Freddy vs. Jason. I didn't get all the way through. I mean, there's a lot of Friday the 13th movies, so I knew I wasn't going to finish all of them, but this is the one that I have to end the day with, so I need a project to work on as I'm watching that too. It's funny, I woke up this morning and was really excited to start working on this blanket. I knew the other one was totally finished. I could just move on to this now. You would think that I would want to move to a different project, which I think I will. Like, this will be my project that I'm going to work on as I have my coffee this morning, but then do some other projects. The other reason that I am actually excited is it's almost done. Okay, well, I say that, I'm going to show it to you and you're going to be like, Kayla, no, it is not almost done. Compared to starting a brand new blanket, I already have quite a good start. So this solid color, the goblin color, is totally done. I've already started the transition into the sorcerer. Here's where I'm at. I think that was a full skein of yarn. I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to have to weigh this at the end. I didn't write anything down, so I do want to make this blanket again. It's a yarn that Hirschner's ends up putting out, not every year. They have some sort of medium weight number 4 type of yarn. I want to have this written down, that way I know exactly how many to order, because I did get quite a few of this goblin and I didn't end up using as much as I thought I was going to. But I just switched everything out. This did have the anniversary carrying cakes in here. I just starting with a couple, and I'm gonna keep working that way. The hook size was placed conveniently with the blanket, so I do know that. I'm using a 5mm. I could have just went back in some of the videos when I first started it. I'm very glad I kept it here. When I was pulling this one out, I did notice there was a couple of projects that I had totally forgotten about that I used with this yarn. So one of them was a tote that I was gonna create and then put these little enamel pins on them. Just a C2C tote. I ended up seaming everything together. The only thing I need to do is make a liner for it. And then I have this piece, which I was gonna do as like a crossbody bag and also put enamel pins or maybe patches on this one. I don't really know yet. But this also needs a liner for it. Go through some of my fabric today. I don't think that I need to leave the yarn dungeon at all today, which is going to be so nice because I know if I keep looking, I'm going to find more and more projects that are like half finished, especially since we're getting so close to October. I want to make sure little projects like this that are laying around, they get done. I don't really want to be working on it. Oh, and that fell off. That's not good. Yeah, it'll be a lot easier once I have the liner in it. A couple of bigger projects that I'm going to be working on in October, like these ones that were super impromptu, didn't really have it on my planner to be working on. I want them to be totally done. This blanket I would love to have finished by October, but I'm not putting any sort of pressure on myself. Whenever it gets done, it gets done. It would look great with the neon explosion theme down here. Even if I finish it in November, that's totally fine. I'm just gonna toss it in here. It's not something that I'm working around. I just started this blanket and here we are. I have another blanket to go with. This one seems to be going faster than the anniversary cake. I think the issue with that one, it was so bulky and I was using an 8mm crochet hook that I was kind of just expecting it to go faster than it really should. Or like in my head, I thought 2 days max, you know, something super unrealistic because I wasn't working on it every single day. Where this one, I mean, it's a little bit thinner yarn, so I know it's gonna take time. I've been a little more patient with this one. And the colors are just super fun to work with too. So every time I pick it up, I'm happy to work on it. I have a ton of cozy murder mysteries that I could start today as well as I'm sewing everything up. Oh, and then my sweater. I washed it, dried it. Took a little while to dry actually because I laid it flat to dry, but it's a very thick type of sweater. This was my latest thrifting find. Probably one of my best items that I've thrifted so far this season. It's in excellent shape. There's just a couple of spots here and there where it's a little pileated, so I want to get these bits off here, which means I need to find the machine to kind of run over it. I would love to wear this pumpkin picking, but I know that it's gonna be just a little bit too warm. I mean, Minnesota weather can change just like that. Normally, the end of September is still pretty warm. It's short sleeves and shorts type of weather. I might have to save it for one of my haunted house adventures, which I am going to go to one at the end of September, but I already have an outfit picked out for that. There is one the third week in October. There's one that I've planned there if everything works out the way it's supposed to. If I do that in my planner, I will set everything up for October, and then when the first week of October rolls around, I go back and kind of make sure everything is working out, because sometimes things change, or I can go to haunted houses earlier. Maybe there's a new pumpkin patch that I want to go to, or apple picking. That is something for sure that I want to do this year. I haven't decided what orchard I want to go to. I definitely want to make some caramel apples this year. I'm always amazed by how much this actually takes off the sweater and how freaking good it looks afterwards. I mean, it didn't look bad by any means before. All of that fluff is off, especially on the shoulder and underneath the arms. There was quite a bit there. Let me show you how much actually is in here. It's just this little thing right here. Pull that off. I even have to pull some of the stuff out from up there, but tons and tons of fluff. And this whole thing is completely full as well. Yeah, it just refreshes the sweater so much. One of my greatest purchases, especially when I started really getting into making sweaters. Even if I crochet a sweater I want it to look distressed, there's still gonna be just natural wear and tear. Like this one, I could probably run it over here pretty soon, right on where I kind of put my thumbs through it every once in a while. That definitely gets roughed up a little bit. And the other side of this one, does have, it's like an electric lint roller. It doesn't really work. It's not my favorite. I have another one that it's a reusable lint roller, but then you put it back in the little container thing and then it'll pull all that off. So you can do it multiple times. This one is fine. It just doesn't quite work as well as my other one. This green one is definitely going to need a couple buttons. It's just pretty big. No matter what, it's going to be a little bit open, which is totally fine. And I love how it matches the shirt that I have on right now. Didn't do that intentionally, but heck yeah. So just like something really big right here. The inside liner, I decided to go with the glow-in-the-dark jack-o'-lanterns. Felt like that was the perfect thing to go with the goblin yarn, which means I'm now gonna have to go back and get some more because I was gonna use that for a couple of pillow shams. Probably go through and find some. I think I have ones with bats on it still. I could just switch those two out. It just looks so super cute this way. For the crossbody part, I did the same thing that I did with my Beetlejuice inspired one, where I used the DIY glow yarn and then a little bit of the red heart yarn. Used a lisette fork, worked it all up together. 30 inches is turning out to be perfect for me. Every single one of these is 30 inches in length. So even if it stretches out a little bit, I'm still going to be really happy with it. Oh my gosh, I just love the Beetlejuice one though. I mean, I love every single one I made today, but there's just something about the Beetlejuice. If I would have done Beetlejuice insert with this, okay, what do we think about that? I might have to do another one actually, because these are just so fun to make. They work up super quick. I would like to have at least one more so I could have a new tote for every weekend in October. And the last one, this is the Sorcerer. Got all of the enamel pins on here. This is just the ones I have right this second. It's gonna be something that I just keep adding onto. I mean, I have tons of room for it, you know? So I did the C2C, slip stitched all the way around, and the inside is the cute little different colored pumpkins. This one is cotton, so this one is gonna be a little better liner. The Snuggle Fleece one for the goblin, that actually might stretch out a little bit, but I don't care. I liked the combination of the jack-o'-lantern with the goblin yarn, so if it stretches out, that's fine. I will just add something into it later. I don't plan on putting anything super heavy in here. Really what I wanna do is use these as my project bags. So as I'm going places like pumpkin patches, haunted houses, there's downtime there, you know? I can bring whatever small project that I'm gonna work on. I still need to figure that out too. I have a couple of different ideas for patterns. For those type of events, I like to take something, obviously not a blanket, but just something small to work on, maybe a scarf or a wrap, since we will be getting into the colder season here pretty soon. And that way I can have some fun ones. I love doing the granny stitch or a wrap, and I actually do have two different patterns. One is giant, I can wrap myself up in it, and the other one is more of a accessory type of scarf. Either one I think would fit in all of these bags. Okay, so just from looking at the colors that I have going on, the combination, I didn't even talk about this green one. This is the spider stitch. That's what I ended up using with it. We have the spider stitch, the C2C, the granny square. Should I do like another stitch for the fourth one or a granny square, but just a little different variation of the granny square? But it is getting pretty late and I'm still gonna watch a movie from our 100 Nights to Halloween countdown list. I will just be working on C2C blankets. Now that I worked it up a little bit this morning, I am incredibly excited to keep going on it. So hopefully I can get a couple of rows done before I fall asleep. But yes, I'm incredibly tired. So thanks for hanging out with me today. Have a super spooky rest of your night and I will see you ghouls tomorrow.